Hey guys, what's going on? Tyrauku here, and I hope you're all doing great. So, Thanksgiving's coming up. Hope you guys have some exciting plans going on, spend some time with family, eating some good food, so on and so forth. Clan versus clan? What in the world? 7,901,864 to 7,900,935. Oh man, hopefully tomorrow I'll be giving thanks that we walked away with personal rewards after dealing with the hookers. So, interesting clan name either way. But today, I want to talk about something, not this. This is actually maybe a good deal if you're like 10 days into the game, 20 days into the game. But yeah, I'm not buying that either way. All right, guys. So today I want to talk about, well, I was originally going to do 10 different champions, but it's not even worry about that. It's just going to be the most hated champions in Raid. Okay, now, this won't be obviously all of them. You may hate some different champions than I hate. I did a poll on, I did a community post a few days ago asking people what champions they hated, and people shared, a lot of people had pretty similar opinions. But today I want to go over some of those champions. So these champions could be champions you hate in Doom Tower. These champions could be champions you hate in the arena, champions you hate in the campaign. Wherever it may be, if you hate the champion, leave it down below. We usually do champions that we love, but today, let's talk about some champions we hate. Now, all these champions, if somebody hates going against them, it's kind of a good sign that that's probably a pretty good champion, right? If it's an annoying champion, it's probably good in the arena. Having an annoying team is always good as arena defense. But the first champion we're going to talk about might as well start off from the very top. That is Warlord. All right. So Warlord, obviously, this is the only thing we're going to talk about is his A3 ability. Attacks all enemies, 70% chance of putting each target skill on cooldown, 30% chance to fully deplete each target's turn meter. Boosted up, higher chance to place a debuff or buff or debuff, but placing the debuff doesn't really matter about the buff thing there. But either way, this is such an annoying ability. The reason why this is so annoying is because it doesn't get stopped when you have block debuffs applied to your team. So basically in the arena, if you're facing an enemy warlord, you're watching their turn meter the entire time, which also thank you low key for this video idea as well. But you're watching the enemy's turn meter the whole time, hoping the warlord doesn't get a turn. And when he does get a turn, you're hoping that your resistance, either 3% chance or your actual resistance resists that ability so you can actually survive. Other than having high resistance and going faster, Kymar is the only champion who can kind of counter Warlord, because Kymar does have that reset where if you have him going slower, you can build him with a lot of resist and then reset your abilities after the Warlord does his thing. So that's Warlord, probably the most hated champion in the game. Now, a baby version of Warlord is Basher. Now, Basher is a champion that most of us have, right? Well, a lot more than Warlord, right? So Basher, very solid champion, not quite as good as Warlord, but he does still attack all enemies, increases the cooldown of all target skills by 2 turns, which is very, very good. It does go through block debuffs, same thing. All this is very good. If you're low level arena and you come against a Warlord or come against a Basher, you're probably feeling pretty similar feelings like, oh, I got to kill this dude before he gets a turn, because once he gets a turn, he's using that A2 ability, locking me out, and I have 2 turns of basically doing nothing. So Basher and Warlord, both super annoying champions. And the next one, Kymar. So where is Kymar? He is in the Demon Spawn. Kymar, super annoying champion as well. If you're going against him in arena offense, well, if you're attacking a team with Kymar, basically you don't want him to get a turn. Once Kymar gets a turn, strips your team, puts your team to sleep. You can't do nothing. You're just sitting back, hoping they don't nuke you, and they probably do nuke you. So Prince Kymar has to be one of the most hated champions. When you get him, you're going to love him. He's an absolute game changer. This reset ability on the enemy team, if that's where you're fighting him against, such an annoying ability. Plus giving him an aura for 30% speed in arena battles makes Kymar one of the few champions who I'll just skip when I'm scrolling through arena battles. Okay, if I see Kymar as a leader, I'm more likely to skip that than anything else. I know their team's probably fast. I know if he gets a turn, I'm screwed. Kymar's Warlords, and we'll get into the rest. Next one is Madame Saris. Okay, pretty similar to Kymar in the fact that when you're watching them, you're like, okay, once they get a turn, all these buffs are no more. Okay, Madame Saris, once she gets a turn, you know, okay, there's probably going to be a nuke champion right behind this champion. So Madame Saris strips you of everything. You know, you're probably not going to be able to resist it. She strips you of everything. Decrease defense, decrease attack applied. So now if you have a defense-based nuker or an attack-based nuker, they're hitting like a noodle, and they're about to get destroyed if the enemy has a nuker who's actually speed tuned correctly. Or if you're just running a defensive type team and the enemy has a Madame Saris, then now all of your protection's gone. So Madame Saris is definitely one of those champions who, if you're going against her in the arena, you're really watching her turn meter. You're hoping and praying that she doesn't take a turn before your nuker goes. I've had that happen so many times where my turn meter of my nuke champion looks like it's the exact same as the enemy's Madame Saris, but then luckily I get a turn, and it's such a relief when I get a turn with my nuker. I'm like, okay, I'm safe. I don't have to worry about Madame absolutely ruining my entire offense, because you could have a perfect setup and then she strips everything, gives you decreased attack, and then your Trunda, your Ithos, your Herndig, whatever it may be, is basically useless at that point, right? Next champion. So most of these champions were in the arena, but let's talk about a champion who I personally absolutely hate, okay? So this champion right here, he's not very popular anymore. Like, he used to be pretty good. Used to see him quite a bit in arena, but honestly, you don't really see him in arena too much anymore. But when you do, oh my gosh, he's so annoying. But me personally, I think he's so annoying in the Doom Tower specifically, and it's Angar. And the reason why is because this ability right here, this ability paired with his passive ability. So, attacks all enemies, places a provoke debuff on them for 1 turn, places a 30% reflect damage on all allies for 2 turns, also places counterattack buff on this champion. And his passive, if an enemy with provoke attacks, has a 40% chance of placing provoke debuff on them for 1 turn. Each hit will reduce damage taken by 5%. Okay, so basically what happens in Doom Tower for me is Angar does his A2, provokes my entire team, places counterattack on himself, and then my people attack him. Their provoke should go off, but then boom, they're getting provoke reapplied to them, and then he's whacking them with what feels like a truck. He hits so hard, at least in the Doom Tower, but even in arena, it's annoying for sure, right? So he's just hitting me, and then my team's basically, I just have to reset. Angar is one of the champions who I think is definitely super annoying. Now, obviously, there's a pretty obvious counter for him, which that's just having block debuffs. But if they strip you of block debuffs, then you're open to the provoke. You start once he gets provoke off, it's just a snowball effect from there. It really is. It's nasty facing Angar, especially like I said in the Doom Tower. Now the next champions is actually 3 different champions. That is Leoris, Skullcrown, and Candrafon, okay? Now, the reason why Candrafon is even added to this list is because if you've came across him in the arena, you know that once he gets a turn, he's about to destroy your team. He's very tanky, especially when paired with the Duchess, a super tanky defensive type champion. Very, very annoying. But I think he kind of fits in this same category with Leoris and Skullcrown. Leoris is basically a Skullcrown on steroids. Both of these champions, you are hoping and praying that somehow you can get them down to proc their unkillable, and then you can remove the unkillable and then kill them, or place block buffs on the champion to ignore that unkillable and then kill them, or use Rotos to actually ignore unkillable and then be safe. But if these champions are geared properly and they get their turn after they've hit their unkillable, especially Leoris, I've really, really been liking him a lot lately. Once they get down to that low HP, they get their turn. Skullcrown hits so hard with his A2 ability, and Leoris has the extra benefit of not being able to be crowd controlled basically until he uses his A2 ability. So he's just sitting there chilling at 1% HP. It's going to hit even harder once he gets his turn. He wipes out most teams if you can't deal with that unkillable. So definitely 2 champions who a lot of times I'll be going in the arena. I'll be scrolling through there. I'll be clicking on a team to fight, and I go to fight the team, and then I don't realize it until the very end. Oh crap, there's a Leoris, there's a Skullcrown on this team. I'm actually screwed because the team I'm using isn't really fit to fight them. And you'll also realize if you bring a Lysandra against these 2 champions, it just makes for a bad day, okay? Lysandra going against a pretty slow champion is not very fun because she will keep their turn meter down very low. And if they have unkillable up, you're just never gonna kill them unless you bring a strip champion of some sort, okay? All right, guys, so let's move on to the next champion. That is my most wanted champion, Hegemon, okay? I don't have Hegemon, obviously. I would be a happy man if I got him. I would definitely be satisfied. It's really the main champion I want, but Hegemon is one of the most annoying champions, one of the most hated champions when you go against him because you can't be faster than him. The only way to be faster than Hegi is if you have a faster Hegi, right? He always goes first with his passive, and his skills work so well. The thing that I most find annoying with him, though, is that people are now, since you're able to set the AI to either do the A1 or A2 first, sometimes people are using the A2, which is fairly easy to counter, especially if you have like Rio, if you have Necrit, if you have a good shield set, if you have immunity champions, you can counter that in different ways, but you counter the A1 differently than you would the A2. If you do the same strategy for the A1 and you're running like a fast team, then you're going to get cut in on. Your turn meter is going to get all messed up. If they're using the A1 with Evil Eye, it's just going to be a bad situation, okay? If you've gone against Hegemon, then you know there's so many different ways to build them that it's very difficult to predict, oh, this person's a crowd control Hegi, this person's a nuke Hegi, I got to bring a lot of shield sets, or I got to bring a lot resistance or immunity. So there's a lot of different ways Hegi can be built, which is what makes him so annoying and unpredictable when you go against him in the arena. Also, in the Doom Tower, my goodness, I hate him actually even more in the Doom Tower, especially towards the top stages of the Doom Tower where he's at. Those stages are difficult because you have to bring in a cleanser to play around with the Hegi, to like actually cleanse after he takes his turn. With my Rio I recently got, she's helped out a ton with that, but Hegi is by far one of the most annoying or hated champions in the game. This one right here, this next one, is everybody's going to be able to relate. Demon Spawn. Mortu Macabre. If you don't hate Mortu Macabre, then I think you probably bought your account and the person who sold it to you had already finished campaign chapter 12, stage 7 from Nightmare. This stage is so many people's nightmare, okay? This stage is so annoying because when you get to the boss, if you don't know, basically Mortu has a secret skill that every time you're attacking him, it has a chance to activate it, okay? So this passive right here, 20% chance to unlock a secret skill peril for 1 turn when attacked. 20% chance to fill this champion's turn meter by 25%. So every time you're hitting him, it's like playing Russian roulette. He has a chance to unlock this skill, which will kill you, and it will block revive, so no bringing Seal of the Drakes or anything like that in hopes of reviving your champion. So he's going to hit you, he's going to kill you, he's going to ruin your 3-star attempt at getting Nightmare campaign absolutely finished up, so where you could pull that Sacred Shard during a 2x Sacred event so you could get your most wanted legendary. I know, I've been there where I was grinding literally hours trying to beat this to get that Sacred Shard. But this skill right here ignores shield, ignores block damage. It doesn't ignore unkillable, so you can do that and you can cheese it, but this dude is so annoying. And then once you get fed up of dealing with him in the campaign, then when you start going through Doom Tower, you notice, hey, the Mortu situation is not over. You also got to watch out for him in the Doom Tower because same thing. You're hitting him, he has a chance to proc that secret skill, boosting his turn meter, which just gets him around to killing you even quicker. Mortu has to be one of the most headache-inducing champions there is because he's so tricky to play around. And if you mess up, then he's going to block revive, and it a lot of times ruins your attempt at whatever it is. Now, granted, it's a little bit more forgiving in the Doom Tower because you don't have to worry about 3-starring it, but still, either way, very, very annoying, especially in the campaign. I know for sure everybody watching this video probably struggled with the same thing. The next champion is Mashald, okay? Mashald, if you've gone against him in the arena, you already know, okay? Basically what he does is he strips your champion, nukes him with this ability. I do believe this is the ability that he does that with. And if he doesn't do that, then he's using his A2, placing true fear on everybody. I don't know exactly how your AI, people's AIs are set up, why sometimes he just does this first, but I guess technically he should increase speed, increase crit damage, place true fear and leech, and then nuke, okay? So he's super, super annoying. If you go against Mashald and you don't have a counter for these fears and things like that, then oh my gosh, he is a pain to go against. Such a good champion to use, but he can really mess you up in the arena. I've seen a lot of Mashalds do some serious work on the arena, especially when I'm doing account takeovers. I see Mashald more often than anything in like silver 3v3 arena. I see him there a ton, it feels like. Whenever I was doing account help, account takeovers and things, he's all over the place. Now, when you get into gold, I don't see him as much, or at least I haven't seen him recently, but in silver, he seems to be everywhere, and he's such an annoying champion. I think a lot of people use him in clan boss, so they just kind of throw him in the arena, and he just so happens to work there. The accuracy, everything combined together makes for a very, very annoying champion who can make some very frustrating matches. You can literally one-shot the entire team, and then he can solo you. The heals he has, the control he has, the ability to one-shot he has is really insane. Mashald is one champion who I would love to have, one of the champions I've hoped for a while. Granted, I'd rather have a Hegi, okay? So Plarium, if you're listening, give me a Hegi over Mashald, but I will take a Mashald out of my next Ancient Shard, okay? Next champion is Brogni's Shield. So this doesn't have to be said too much. Basically, in the arena, if you're running a damage-dealing team, a pretty heavy damage-dealing team, and there's an enemy Brogni on the team, somehow he manages to cut in on you between your nuke champion or even between your debuffer, okay? He cuts in, places a big, thick shield on everybody, which can't be removed. well, there goes your nuke, okay? Your nuke is going to suffer so much because of that big shield, okay? That shield, block debuffs, and increase attack. Brogni is one of the champions who, in the arena, you do have to watch out for. You do have to be careful when you're going against him, because once he gets that shield up, the fun times you thought you were going to have, they're out the window, okay? That shield, especially when you stack his health up high, can be pretty massive, right? So he places a shield buff on all allies for 2 turns, equal to 30% of this champion's max HP. Now, obviously, if you're going faster than him, if you place some block buffs, then you're pretty safe, right? Block buffs is actually really good in the arena, but not a ton of champions place it. Gerptuk is one who does very well with it, but there's not a ton of champions who place it who can also make sense and fit inside your arena teams. Brogni's also a champion who, I believe against the Dark Fae, I tried using him, and I believe this shield was pretty annoying. I can't remember, but I imagine that would be annoying if I did bring it. I'm like 99% sure I did test it out. He did get a turn. He did do the shield, and it just messed me up. Plus, when you're hitting it, it's reflecting damage back to you, so it's just a pain to deal with. You can't remove it, and it's reflecting the damage back. Brogni's a champion who's a lot in the clan boss, but I have seen him quite a few times in the arena, especially on accounts takeovers, where he's very annoying to deal with. Once he gets that shield up, once he starts extending that shield, just really a pain and a headache for sure. Next champion, also a dwarf. This little cold dwarf down here who I missed a fusion for a long time ago. I don't know why I missed the fusion. Honestly, I missed the fusion for Tormund. I missed the fusion for Rhodos. I was playing during that time. I just didn't do it. Tormund, I don't really think there's a lot that needs to be said. He's super, super annoying, and he's one of the few champions. Tormund, Hegemon, and sometimes Kymar, but mostly Tormund and Hegemon are the teams that you, or the champions that you have to have a team specifically built around, or else you're going to get wrecked, okay? Tormund and Hegemon, pretty similar counters. Immunity works well. Cleansing, block debuffs, all that stuff works very, very well. But if you don't have that, if you run a typical Arbiter into another speed booster, into a debuffer, into a nuker, and you don't have immunity, Tormund's going to freeze you all the time and make for a very annoying situation, for sure. And he can also hit very hard. So he's got good crowd control, good damage, and then when you move him to the Doom Tower, it's even more annoying, right? So definitely a champion who you have to build champions specifically around to counter him. He's an awesome champion if you have him, but if you're going against him, you're definitely getting headaches facing him, right? Like I go into 3v3 right now, and I bet I see him somewhere. Well, pretty low right now. So never mind. I'm like, we're farming for CVC, which I need to do because we're getting low on points. Speaking of, the video's 17 minutes. As soon as this video is over, I got to get back to grinding. We are 200 points ahead of him. 200 points ahead. All right, guys, this is going to be a very interesting night. But last but not least, this champion right here is probably one that's not expected, okay? This champion right here, I was doing 3v3 a few days ago, and somebody just had this dude slipped into their team. This dude, by far, has to be the most trolly champion, okay? This dude can help you out with so many different things in the game. He can help you beat those Mortu Macabre stages. He's very overlooked, underrated. People know the cheeses for him. That is Paragon, okay? Paragon in Faction Wars. You know, when you're trying to clear Faction Wars, you clear all the enemies beside Paragon, and then he begins to cast this unkillable every 2 turns on himself, and it never goes off, and he's just casting on himself, and you wonder why the game devs decided this was a good idea to have on Faction War stages. Yeah, well, this guy, when you take him to the arena, and you have him with a lot of resistance, and you don't bring a strip champion because you're not really paying attention, and you don't think anybody's trying to troll you in 3v3, and you're just trying to farm some points to help your clan win, and then you come across Paragon, and you realize, oh, my Lysandra is just reducing his turn meter, and whenever he actually gets a turn, he's just placing his unkillable up again. Paragon is one of the champions. If you want to make a very troll team, make a Paragon pretty fast, make him very high resistance. Obviously, you want to get the unkillable up first, put him in swift parry even, give him high resistance. And yeah, you're going to be trolling a lot of people because you literally can't beat him. If you don't have enough accuracy to strip that off of him, and you don't place block buffs on him, and he gets that unkillable up the first time, it's not coming off. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That is not coming off, and that will make people back out and leave matches more than anything. Paragon, I think, is one of the only champions who does that and is so annoying at it. Actually, I think he is the only champion who can do it that consistently. But let me know, that was more than 10 champions, who are very frustrating to face, whether it's in the arena, whether it's in the Doom Tower, more of just a fun video. Obviously, you can take some of that information and build your teams around that, but let me know who some of your most hated, most frustrating champions are inside of Raid Shadow Legends, whether it's in the arena, whether it's in the Doom Tower, whether it's in Faction Wars, wherever it is, guys. Sounds like somebody's about to knock down my door, so I'm going to end this video. Thank you all very much for watching this video, and I will catch you in the next one.